Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Listen, I got a quick message for the moms, right? For the mothers, for the good mothers who are just trying their best, who are doing all they could, okay? Who are striving to break generational curses, who are striving to be the best mom they know how to be, who are striving to be the mom that they didn't have. They're not repeating cycles. I'm here to encourage you all, right? That's what I call a good mom. A mom who is not repeating the cycles. Your children didn't have to go through the things that you've gone through because you broke the cycle, okay? You broke the cycle. Although you had challenges, you've broken the cycle. You've broken generational curses. You have broken family patterns. You have broken so many barriers. I'm here to encourage you all, right? I'm here to encourage you, Mom. You are on the right path. You are doing what it is that you know how to do, right? You are on the right path. I'm here to encourage you, to let you know you're doing a good job. You don't have to fear, because being a mom is not easy. Being a mother is not easy. Being something that you were never shown how to be, and you're just learning from what you didn't get. That's not easy. That's not easy. You're learning, right? You're being what you thought you needed. You're trying to do what it is that you think would have helped you as a child, right? You're trying to give to your children something that you were not taught, but you want to make sure that they don't feel how you felt. I'm talking to you. I'm here to encourage you. You know what? Don't be so hard on yourself as a mother, because it's not easy. As long as you know your heart is pure, as long as you're doing things that you're doing a thing that you know is right, right? You're doing a thing that you know is right in your heart, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what people, try to tell you to do. And they're trying to tell you how to be, because they're not in your shoes. They're not in your, it was one thing my grandmother always taught me. And it's so true. And we can be so quick to say certain things because we're not in that position, right? One thing she taught me is, baby, never say what you won't do, because you can easily say what you will not do because you're not in that situation. On the outside looking in, many people will say they will never do this or do that or the other, but they're not in your shoes. But they're not in your shoes, right? They're not in your shoes. So never get so caught up. As a mother, there's so many things that, we worry about, we're concerned about. But the number one thing I've learned as a mom is to keep praying, regardless, because sometimes, as a mother, and I've experienced this, and I talked about this. I had a live on this, when my channel wasn't so popular, but, I was moving when God told me to move. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. And I did a live on this. And, as a mother, you don't have all the answers, right? You don't have all the answers. And, sometimes when you're trying to be a good parent, right, you have people who can influence you in a negative way. You have people that can influence your children in a negative way. And this is not about that. I'm here to encourage you. But what I'm trying to say is, when you're doing and giving all you could, and it's in good heart, and it's in purity, you have to rest in that. You have to rest in knowing that your heart is pure. You have to rest in knowing that you are a good mother, right? You have to rest in knowing that you are trying your best. You're not perfect, but you're trying your best. You're not one of those mothers that are, and I'm talking about good moms here, right? You're not one of those mothers who are so prideful and you think you know everything. You don't listen to your children's needs. You don't try to understand them. You're not that mother. I'm not talking about those type. I'm talking about those who try to understand their children, try to understand their upbringing, try to understand, the dynamics and the curses in their family, and you trying to make it right. I'm talking to those moms. When you know you are crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, although you know you're not perfect, right? You know you're not perfect. I'm talking to those moms. I'm encouraging those moms to keep your head up, to keep going, to keep doing what it is that you are doing. Keep doing what it is that you're doing, right? Give, give, give those things that you wish you had. Be the mom to your children you wish you had. And unfortunately, you all, when you are a good mother, like when you are a good mother, the enemy sees that. And he will come in like a roaring lion trying to destroy your relationship with your children. Because, see, people are jealous of that, especially if you didn't have a mother growing up, or if your mother was not present, and people see that you are this good mom, that you're raising your children well, that you're raising them to be respectable, that you're raising them not how you was raised, you know, in the gutter, broke, busted, and disgusted, and you're elevating your children. People will get jealous of that. When you move your children out of the crime-ridden community that you grew up in, and you want the best for your children, people are trying to make you feel bad for that. Don't feel bad, because you are breaking generational curses. Don't feel bad for wanting to do better for your children, because the enemy will have you thinking that you made the wrong decision. That you made the wrong decision because you took a chance on faith, because you did something different. He'll have you thinking that maybe you should have stayed where you were. Maybe you should have did this. And people will say stupid stuff out of their mouth and tell you maybe you should have left them in this place, thinking they would have been better off. No, they wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have. They wouldn't. Don't feel bad. Stop feeling bad for doing what you think is best for your children. Nobody knows the ins and outs of what you have to struggle with. They don't know your kids like you know your children. And you know, people, you know, when you are a good mother, people will sit and they will plan and they will wait until, you know, something. And I saw, and you know, and I experienced something like this, right? People will bask in the, you know, in the they will glory and be in joy when, you know, when you experience hardships or something with your children, because it's part of life. What I've learned as a mother, I've learned that my children are going to have their own journey. My children are going to have their own journey, just like I had my own journey. They're going to go through their journey of life. And once they become adults, as a parent, we're supposed to be there to guide them. We're supposed to be there to speak truth into them. We're not supposed to glory and agree with their foolishness. We're parents. We're supposed to be the bigger person. We're supposed to be the guide. That's just like our Heavenly Father. God don't let us sit and bask in wrongdoing. A good parent will correct their children. And that is your job, is to correct your children when they're wrong. Whether if they get mad at you or not, it is your job to do the correction. It is their job to learn the lesson. And I think about, because my mom didn't raise me, my grandmother raised me. I think about all the time when my grandmother corrected me. And if she would have bowed to my attitude and bowed to me getting mad at her, I wouldn't have never learned the lesson. I wouldn't be the mom I am today. I wouldn't be the mother I am today if my grandmother would have bowed and you know, agreed to the foolishness that I was doing. No, I'm talking to the moms who are going to encourage their children, who's going to pray for their children, who's going to let their children know that they're wrong, and who's going to hurt their children's feelings because they love them. You love your child, so you're going to hurt their feelings. You're not going to agree with foolishness. You're not going to see them heading down the wrong road. A good mother could see ahead of their children, and they will correct their child, even if their child gets mad at them, okay? Even if that child gets mad and don't want to talk to you, a good mother still would take that pain. Although her heart is broken, she will take that pain and she will sit with it until that child learned their lesson. She will not give in to try to make that child feel better about themselves. I'm talking about a good mom. I'm not talking about these watered down mothers who want to just agree with everything their child do that is wrong. They want to satisfy that child. No, I'm talking about a mom that is in alignment with God. They're going to do how God do us. He's going to correct us when we're wrong. When I yell or do something to my children, God corrects me. I go to my children and apologize. Whenever I do something to my child, my Heavenly Father corrects me and tells me, you know you was wrong for that. You know you shouldn't have hollered at him. You know you shouldn't have said that way. And guess what I do? I go apologize. Baby, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. And that's just letting your children know you are human. I tell my children all the time, your mom is not God. I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers, but I know a lot because I've experienced life. I've been here longer. I've been on earth longer, so I know some things. God give us eyes to see ahead of our children. He give us eyes to see and scan over their life and see what's ahead of them. He give us that power. And that's why it's more powerful to still, that's why it's good to still pray for your children. Although they may make you upset, although they're not doing what you want them to do, right? You don't want your child is not doing what you want them to do, but you still have to pray. Your prayers are more powerful. And another thing, parents, don't come into agreement with foolishness of the world, foolishness that your children want to go through. Don't come into agreement with it. You stand firm, because you not coming into agreement with the foolishness they want to do, you're standing in your power. You're standing in your godly authority. Let them live their life. They're adults. You got to remember, your children are going to make decisions that they want to make. That's part of life. But your prayers are going to precede them. Your prayers are going to go, even you may not even get to see some of the transformations that your children may go through, but you got to believe that your prayers are going to go ahead of you and cover your children. That's how much power you got over your children. People may have influence over them, but parent, you hold the power. People may have that negative influence over your children, but the mother has the power, the godly power. Until that child gets married, the mother has the power to pray and watch God work in that child's life. You got the power. So don't come into agreement with foolishness. Don't listen to what people are saying about your children and all the foolishness that they're speaking over your children. They can be acting a plum fool. They can be out here in the world acting like an animal. But you got to have your faith, mom. You got to have your faith and believe that God is going to transform your child. And you got to, when you see them, you got to correct them. Don't sit there and see them and not correct them. No, you correct them in love. You tell them, okay, you know that's not right. Even if they don't want to hear it, they'll stay away from you too. If you speaking the truth, they don't want to be around you because they already feel judged. You don't have to say anything. Your righteousness, your spirit is going to judge them. You don't have to say anything. The way you live your life is going to convict them. They know what you stand for. So that's why people don't come around. Y'all be thinking that people don't want to be around you because they don't like you or that, you just this terrible person. No, it's your spirit that's convicting them. What you stand for is convicting them. So they don't want to be around you because you stand for what's right. You stand for righteousness. You stand for what's good. You stand for what's truthful. You stand for what's honorable. And you got to stand on that. You got to stand on that because you know it's going to prosper them in their future. Their future is going to be prosperous when you stand for something that's truthful. You don't have to agree with everything your children got going on, all the foolishness they got going on. You still can love them. You still can love them. Don't let nobody make you feel like you don't love your child because you don't agree with foolishness that they're doing. Don't let people make you feel that way. You got to get healthy enough to know. You got to get healthy enough to know when you're standing on, as my girl and my coach would say, on kingdom business. When you standing on kingdom business, you got to know you standing for truth. You standing for what's right. Don't come into agreement. Don't speak out of your mouth and come into agreement with the enemy and what they're saying about your children. what they're saying about you, because you know you got people that are jealous of you. You got people that are jealous that you breaking generational curses. You got people that are jealous that your children didn't have to experience what you went through as a child. Your children don't know what lack is. They don't know what dysfunction is. Growing up in dysfunction, growing up in chaos. They know that life. You got to tell them about that life, because in their mind that life is foreign to them. They can't relate. And that's another reason why their faith is not as strong as yours, because they didn't have to fight the warfare that you had to fight. And you have to give them some grace in that. You have to give them some grace, because when you have a warfare in your childhood like no other, your faith is stronger than the life that they have. They got to get a different faith. They got to know God for themselves in a different way. Your faith in God is stronger because of the warfare and all the craziness you had to fight in your child. You had to fight all this mental and emotional warfare that your family inflicted upon you. You had to fight all the mental warfare from not having your mother there. You had to fight the warfare for not having your family there. You probably was adopted. That's a warfare that you had to fight that these kids don't have to fight. When I tell you God has given me wisdom beyond my years, and I get to understand things and not things weigh me down and not feel bad and worried about what people are going to think. Because before I used to think and worry about people, what they're gonna say about me, and because the devil is manipulative. He's a slithering snake. And he used people, and they know how to he knows how to use people to press buttons in you, because you got that mama wound. You got a mama wound, so therefore he's going to come for you in that area. That's why you have to heal, so you can close the door to the enemy and his tactics, the enemy and his foolishness, because he'll try to attack the areas where you weak at. But God gave me wisdom that's beyond my comprehension. He gave me wisdom beyond sometimes what I even could process myself when it comes to spiritual things, when it comes to seeing things from a spiritual level, a spiritual perspective, spiritual eyes, because what's in the natural, it looks devastating. But when you put on your spiritual eyes, oh, you can see, oh, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. And you got to be able to fight that thing spiritually, because the enemy is going to come for you. But you got to know how to fight him, because he don't have more power than you do. He don't have more power. When you know your power and authority, the devil could bring what he can bring, who he want to bring. Because you know your authority. You know who you are. That's why he fights you so much in your identity. Because when you don't know who you are, he will fight you tooth and nail. But when you know who you are, you can rise up. You can rise up in an authority, and you can walk boldly in God. And he can't be coming for you in certain areas. Even when your children are acting a fool, you know you dealing with something spiritual. You're dealing with something generational. So it requires a lot of prayer. It requires a lot of fasting. You know what them children dealing with? That's coming from their daddy. That's coming from their daddy. They're coming from generations from their mama. So you got to fight and pray against the curses that these kids got to fight through, that came from their grandmother, that came from their great grandfather, that came from their great 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 grandfather. This stuff is generational. You think it's just you. You know it's not you, because you did all you could. This is when you know it's not you. You did all you could. You protected your children. You prayed for them. They didn't grow up like you grew up. They didn't experience all the foolishness you had to go through. They didn't go to sleep with the roaches and rats. They didn't go to sleep with the roaches and rats. They didn't wake up with the roaches being their neighbor, sitting over on the other bed saying, you know what, I was wondering when you're going to wake up. My baby was laughing at me the other day. They didn't grow up with the rats. They didn't grow up in poverty like you did. They didn't grow up with you naming the rodents, the rats and the roaches. Y'all don't name the rats and the roaches. Y'all got names for them. Oh, that's Ken. Oh, that's Sarah over there. You don't name the whole rodent family. Your kids don't even know what roaches are. Your kids don't know what food stamps are. They don't know what food stamps is. They don't know what welfare is. They don't know what WIC is. They don't know what Medicaid is. They don't know this stuff. They don't know this language because you broke the curse. And you sitting here, worried. You sitting here worried about small things. You don't broke the curse. You don't broke the generation the curse. Yes, they're going to go through their stuff. They're going to go through their own stuff. They're going to go through their own stuff. And you got to remember that. You got to let them go through though. And you continue to pray. But you broke the curse. That's why people mad at you. You broke the generation the curse. Your kids didn't have to grow up like you did. They're well spoken. They're educated. They're well mannered. People can't believe them your kids because they know how you grow up. And when they see your kids, they can't believe that you raised such good kids. They can't believe you raised such mannerable kids. They can't believe your kids are well spoken. They can't believe your kids are not thoughts. They can't believe your kids are not thugs. They can't believe that your kids then don't have the mindset that you had. Happy Mother's Day to the good moms. Oh, you broke that curse. Oh, you broke it. You broke it and you breaking it. And you got to keep praying and you got to keep believing that you're continuing to break the curse. Your children were not teen mothers. Your children are still pure. They're not teen moms. They didn't go through what you went through as a teenager. Oh, they going to go through their stuff, but you already broke curses. You already laid the foundation. You laid the foundation. That's why the devil mad. That's why he mad. That's why he tried to come for your children, because he can't get you. So guess what? He gonna get into them kids. And then he gonna get into the people who say they love your children. He gonna get into them to get them to support any foolishness that your children going through. And you got to pray for them too. Because one thing I know, two things for sure. When you are chosen one and people come for your kids, they come for your kids, oh, they gonna suffer. They gonna pay that. Or they gonna eat that. Anybody that agreed to anything that came from the chosen one. When I say a chosen one, I mean God anointed one. When anybody come into agreement against you and you trying to tell your child what's right, Lord have mercy on their soul. Because they think they're getting away scot-free. Watch what happened to them. And I'm not speaking this, I'm not cursing them, but it's just the truth. Watch what happened to them. Watch what happened to their children. Because when you do things in righteousness, when you do things that are right, there's nothing good that can come out of something when you're trying to direct your children down the right path. And people coming and trying to derail that. I ain't gonna say people, the enemy get into people and try to derail that. Watch what happens to them. And this is not me cursing anybody. It's just the truth. It's biblical. You reap what you've sown, because anybody with the pure heart. This is why I love my grandmother. This is why I'm the way I am, because regardless, my grandmother stood on truth. She stood on what was right. Never came into agreement with anything that I did wrong. I had to eat whatever I did, and I had to sit with it until I got it right. Them the type of people you need in your life. And that's the type of person I became. If you don't want the truth, don't come to me. If you don't want to hear the truth, don't come and ask me for my advice. Don't come to me, because I'm going to give you the truth. And the truth will hurt you. They say the truth hurts, and it do. I cried so many times when my grandma said, look at yourself. It's you. She didn't say it in that form, but when she didn't agree, that's what I had to do. I had to go sit in that mirror. I had to go sit with myself. Even when I ran from my issues, I still had to sit with myself and learn. And not pointing the finger at everybody. I tell my son all the time. I tell my baby, when he bring me something, I tell him what you did. How you could have handled the situation different. I always point the finger back to him before we get to the root of, okay, this person shouldn't have did that. You stand up for yourself, blah, blah, blah. But I always get him to think of himself first, how he put himself, how he got into the situation, and what he could do to make it better or different, or could have avoided whatever. Because he'd be ready. He be hot and ready all the time. And I have to get him to think. Think before you be hot and ready. You want to use your brain. You don't want to operate out of emotion. But I had to come bring you all that message. I just had this message on my heart to give to the mothers. You're doing a good job. You're breaking generation of curses. And the devil mad. The devil big mad because you breaking generation of curses. You breaking them generation of curses. Your babies didn't have to go through what you went through. Yes, it may have been hard. You've been fighting. They don't know how much you've been praying. They don't know what type of daggers you've been receiving to protect them. They don't know. But you gracefully go through your struggles. You gracefully go through your warfare so people don't think you're going through nothing. One thing about the chosen ones, we can handle a lot. We could handle a lot. Right? We can handle a lot. And when we handle things, people don't think we're going through anything. We don't look like what we go through. Because we don't sit and complain. We don't sit and mope. We don't sit and drop all our issues on folks. We don't take our stuff out on people. Sometimes we get to a breaking point because we know we're not praying and doing what we're supposed to do. We're not spending that time with God. But for the majority, 99.9% of the time, we gracefully go through. We gracefully go through. Oh, yes. And that bounce back be on point. Style. That bounce back be on point. Because we know where our strength come from. We don't sit and mope. We don't sit and worry about what people are saying or thinking about us. We know we got to get up. We know we still got to live. We can't sit and be chasing and worrying about folks or whether they want to be here or not. We know we got to get up and we still got to walk in purpose. We know we still got to do what God told us to do. We know we still got to raise these kids. We can't sit here and be worried about what somebody doing, what they're thinking, what they're saying. We still got to live. We still got to survive. Okay, we sure do. We sure do. Because I be talking to y'all. Y'all don't know the half. Y'all see me on these lives giving messages. Y'all be surprised. Y'all will be surprised. I had my neighbor tell me, you're always so bubbly. You're always in a good mood. That's intentional. That's called being intentional. Because I would never give the devil the audacity, the joy to see me with my head down. I would never give him the inkling to feel like he going to destroy me in my spirit. Because I got a choice. I know my power and authority. I got a choice. I don't have to sit and mope in my struggles, my pain, my lack, or whatever. Because I got the power to ask God for anything that I need, and he's going to give it to me. I lack nothing. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. That's what the word says. I shall not want for nothing. Because I know my authority. I know my authority. And you got to believe that. You got to get your faith up. I don't care what it's looking like. I just know God is going to make a way. And I believe that. I believe in God at his word. I stay in a place of knowing, hey, Lord, hey, this coming up, this bill, I got this debt. I need help. My children going through this. I need help. Lord, help me. I need. He said we have not because we ask not. Lord, I need help. And it's prideful. It's so prideful to know you need help and not to ask for it. I'm glad God humbled me. I was born in a humble place. So I don't have a problem asking. If I ever get to a point where I need to ask, I'm coming on my channel. Y'all, I need help. I'm pulling out I'm pulling channel. But thank God he's given me the power and understanding to know that I can ask for whatever it is I need and he'll provide for me. And it may not be how I expect it. It may not be what I want, but he's going to meet the need. And that's another thing. We think God is going to meet the need how we expect in our head. We got to get out of that. We have to get out of that. However he meet the need, that's how he's going to meet it. We don't get to pick and choose. As we would say, how I was growing up, beggars can't be choosy. You got some people that need something and they want to be choosy and choicey and picky. I call that ungrateful. Because if I'm asking for something, I don't care how it is. Long as it meets the need, I can't be choosy. I can't be picky. I got to be thankful. And I'll be thankful. But moms, you're doing a good job. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep breaking those curses. Ain't nobody mad but the devil. As my girl would say, my coach would say, Latoya Kill, ain't nobody mad but the devil. He's the one mad. Because you're doing the spiritual work. The spiritual work is what needs to be dealt with. The surface stuff, that's surface stuff. That's the stuff that you can see. But it's the spiritual eyes that we're fighting. It's the spiritual war that we're fighting as mothers. Exactly, Kim. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Every tongue that rises against us, we shall condemn it. You got the power to condemn the tongues that are rising up against you, the tongues that are rising up against your children. That's what I do. Lord, I every tongue that's rising up against my children, praying for their downfall, praying that they don't prosper. You speak against that, because when people can't get you, they go to speaking death over your children. They'll go to speaking lies over your children. They'll go to speaking ill and sickness over your children. You got people like that that are evil. Unfortunately, we don't want to believe it. You got people that are working in your own families that are evil. They will speak death over your children. That's why some of y'all can't grow. That's why some of you all can't prosper. Your grandmother spoke over you and you still dealing with that curse. It's time for you to condemn it. Your mama spoke over you. Your daddy spoke over you and told you you wouldn't be nothing. Told you you'll never be a good mother. Told you you'll never be this and never be that. And you are living out that curse today because you never condemned it. It's time for you to condemn them words that are spoken over you. Condemn the words that that family member spoke over you, them aunties spoke over you. Condemn them words. Yes, you got to condemn whatever they said that I would be in, that I don't be nothing. I condemn it and I rebuke it and renounce it in Jesus' name. I am the head and not the tail. I will succeed. I am prosperous. I am royalty. You got to speak. Find the word of God and speak that over your life. You got to know your authority. And one thing I learned, because see, the enemy, he wanted to use my voice. See, God told me I got to watch what I say, because my words are powerful. Even your words, what you say is powerful. That's why the words say life and death is in the power of the tongue. So whatever you speak over yourself, so shall it be. You keep saying that I am this, I am that, I don't feel this, I'm SICK, I'm this, I'm that, my this, my... No, I don't speak none of that. I learned to be careful what I say. And it may sound crazy to people because we're not conscious. We're not conscious of what we're saying. We just say stuff and don't realize we're a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's why I speak wealth over me. I'm wealthy. I'm the lender. And I'm not the borrower. I don't borrow. I lend. I'm a lender. Whenever God want to meet the need of somebody, I'm that lender. I speak that. I got more than enough in abundance. More than enough. It may not look like it, but in the spirit, I know I got more than enough. And if I keep saying it, it's going to be so. It's going to be so. This is what the enemy don't want. This is your power as a mom. You get to speak. And you got to always be in this place in the spirit, because your children will make you upset. Your children will get on your last. I won't say get on it, but they will do some things to make you frustrated naturally. But you got to be able to see spiritually, because I'm saying watch your words. You got to be able to see spiritually where that's coming from. And you got to fight it. Because he's always going to be using your children against you. He's always going to use them children to say something, but you got to be the bigger person spiritually. You got to be the bigger person spiritually to see where that's coming from and rebuke it and bind it and come against it. Come against the spirit of confusion, the spirit of Leviathan twisting your words. You say one thing, but your children hear it another way. You do something else, but they hear it in another form. All this confusion and what you say. Oh, you didn't say that. You said this. Rebuke that. That's confusion. God is not the author of confusion. This what people want. People, the devil don't like unity. You and your children got a perfect relationship. Y'all get along. Y'all do things together. And here comes the devil. Jealous and mad because they don't have the heart and the love that you do for your children. They're not building the bonds and relationships you have with your children. So they see that and they looking to destroy it. To tell your children, your mama this, your mama that, your daddy this, your daddy that. They don't love you. They don't this. You got people right now telling your children you don't love them because you didn't agree with something. But they're going to pay that. They're going to pay for that. You got people telling your children, you're this, you're that. Oh, you don't know your mama. Your mama this, your mama that. Confusing these children. Causing discord. Confusion. Disunity. Oh, they're going to pay for that. Especially when they're doing it to the chosen. Oh, they're going to pay for that. And you going to see some things that happen to these people. And you only going to do is say, Lord, have mercy on them. Have mercy on them. Have mercy on them. Oh, it's everywhere. Yes. Have mercy on them. You're going to see and you're going to know in your spirit. That's the reaping, what they've sown. Because see, they think they got away with it. Oh, they think they don't got away, but they don't know. God has been telling you how to pray in the spirit, telling you how to pray, telling you what to pray, had you fasting, had you going to war for your child, had you going to war for your children, and he's turning it around for you. All while the enemy think he's getting away with it, planting seeds of discord. And them same children gonna see, God gonna open their eyes, and they gonna see the devil was using them. They gonna see the devil in the people that so-called love them. Nobody loves you that have you to go against a person who love you, who wants you to do right, who's trying to make a good life for you, who wants you to succeed spiritually as well as naturally, who got to understand and to understand things that are spiritual. People don't realize what they have until it's gone. Unfortunately, they don't realize what they have until they no longer have access to it, till they no longer have the communication that they once had. They don't realize that you were a blessing in disguise. You were a blessing in disguise. You were the prosperous. You were the prosperity. Your presence was the prosperity. You being there was the prosperity. Everything that prospered in their life was because of you. Your prayers, your favor. Oh, Lord. They don't realize that. They don't realize it. My daughter. What's wrong? Is she in the bathroom?
Yeah, I told him he was in the bathroom with me,
Mm-hmm.
but I told him to come and get the cat. Like when I get the cat and close it, and he's over here laughing. He's like, I don't want her to scratch me. I'm like, if you get scratched, that's just gonna
Tell
happen.
him he got to do better now. I'm coming.
Like, oh,
Just get a towel. Yeah, I got to take my cat to get her shots, her rabies shots. So we got to put her in a little basket and take her as my daughter. But anyways, yes, you were the favor. Mm-hmm. You were the favor. See, people get jealous of that. As a chosen one, let me tell you, your warfare is always going to be great, and you have to learn to live with it. But you got to realize you got authority to what is it? You have authority to rise above all the chaos. You can be going through HE double hockey stick, but because you know your authority, you can rise above that, and you can let the chaos be going on, and you calm. You above the storm, or you in the eye of the storm. What they say, the calmest part is the eye. Chaos going all around you. Chaos going on all around you, and you're so rooted and grounded in your faith, and you know who you are. You're not being moved. You're sitting there, and they're wondering and perplexed why you're not being moved, because you know your authority. You know spiritually what's going on. So you bind what the Lord says in the word, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. So you know your authority, that you can bind up this confusion. You can bind up and silence the mouth of the enemy from rising up against you. Every tongue that rises up against you, you shall condemn it. You bind up the lying tongues. You bind up the spirits of confusion. You bind up these spirits on your job that's trying to cause confusion. You bind it up, and you loose the spirit of peace. When you walk, wherever you walk, you tell the spirit of peace to walk with you. Whatever door you enter, you tell the spirit of peace to come with you. The spirit of favor to come with you. You got to know your authority. I know mine. I'm tired of letting the enemy run rampant in my life, and I just sit there. We sitting there thinking this stuff is not spiritual. Let people think you're crazy. Let them think you're a nutcake. Let them think whatever. You just know you are going to be walking in peace. Just let them know you're walking in peace. Let people know. Let them think whatever they want to think, while you still have your peace of mind and everyone else running rampant and crazy, and you walking in peace. Family going, chaos going on, and you're walking in peace. The world, what it is, the little movie, Leave the World Behind. You don't left the world behind, and you sitting walking in peace. All the chaos going on, and you still walking in peace. Because you know your authority. You praying, Lord, I see this spirit of confusion. I see this spirit of confusion on my job. Lord, I come against it. I see the enemy is rising up on my job. People teaming up against you. People lying on you. I don't know who this for. Lying on you. Right? Doing all kind of evil. Family members coming up, teaming up against you, doing all kind of evil. You got to speak against this stuff. Because your warfare is always going to be great. Something is always going to be coming up against you, because you're walking in righteousness. When you're walking in righteousness, you're not about all the foolishness. You're in peace. You're trying to get along. You're about unity. The enemy don't like unity. He likes confusion, because that's how he can conquer and divide. He could conquer and divide with this unity, turning this one with gossip. That's why God hates gossip. That's why he hates slandering. When people gossip and they slander, he hates this because it creates division. And that's what the enemy likes. Division in the family. You got this family member against that one. Happy Mother's Day, y'all. This is a Mother's Day message, but I don't know why I'm getting on all this. But I got to get ready to go. But he likes that division. And when you walk on the scene, you bring unity. You shut down gossiping. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to get into it. You sit there and you're not saying anything. People get mad about that. You don't want to get into the confusion because you've been at peace, and the peace is peaceful to your soul. It's peaceful to your soul. Right? But you all, I gotta go. I gotta go take my cat and put him in his little cage. But I hope this Mother's Day message blessed you all. Y'all keep praying. Continue praying. Continue being positive, because the enemy don't like that. He don't like that positive energy. He don't like you being a solutionist. He don't like you trying to come up with a solution to the confusion. He don't like for you trying to get understanding. That's why you always have people in the background saying, oh, this person this person that. They want to create chaos and confusion. They are of their father, the devil. That's what they want. And no, everybody's not devilish, and then the devil is not, no, the devil is not in everybody. I'm not that type of person. I'm not doom, but I am truthful. I am truthful. I am truthful. Okay? So never forget, when people are creating discord, they going back, backbiting, slandering, and all that. Stay away from these people. Stay away from these people, because a lot of confusion comes with that. A lot of discord comes with that, and all kind of other discords and spirits, especially in the family, especially on your job. Whenever there's a community, like, why is it that people just can't get along, and that people just can't try to seek understanding to see where the breakdown is? If we can't see what the breakdown is and try to get to the root issue, I don't want to deal with it. I don't like to be operating out of emotion, ego, coming around, not saying anything, letting your emotions and your assumptions lead the way. No, that's not of God. That don't bring peace and unity. That don't bring peace and unity. So you got to know your authority, and you got to speak to these things to cease these things. Okay? So I'll talk to you all later. I gotta go take my cat to the vet. And you all be blessed.